In 2025, under the Trump administration, the marriage green card interview process has transformed from what many once thought was a straightforward formality into a high-stakes test that can determine your entire future in the United States. The shift is especially noticeable in places like New York City, where thousands of couples go through this process every year. Officers are no longer content with a marriage certificate and a few photos. They are coming into these interviews prepared to dig deep, to uncover every possible inconsistency, and to test the authenticity of a couple's relationship with tactics that can feel more like an interrogation than an interview. The stakes are high, and the rules have tightened, making preparation more critical than ever. When Donald Trump returned to the White House in January 2025, one of his early immigration priorities was to tighten oversight on family-based immigration, particularly marriage-based green cards. While the legal framework hasn't dramatically changed, the enforcement approach certainly has. Officers have been instructed to approach every case with skepticism. The philosophy is simple: treat each marriage petition as potentially fraudulent until proven otherwise. That means the burden of proof is entirely on the couple to demonstrate that their marriage is genuine. No detail is too small to matter, and no inconsistency is too minor to raise questions. In New York City's USCIS field offices, applicants are reporting a noticeably more intense atmosphere. Interviews that used to feel routine now carry an edge. Officers are calm but precise, and every answer seems to be weighed carefully. Couples are finding that their relationship stories are dissected, their evidence scrutinized, and their body language observed for signs of discomfort or dishonesty. The most feared outcome during these sessions is being referred to what is known as a Stokes interview, a second, more detailed interrogation where the spouses are separated, questioned individually, and their answers compared line by line for inconsistencies. Under the Trump administration's enforcement playbook, Stokes interviews are becoming more common, especially in urban areas with high immigration volumes like New York. One couple who recently went through the process in Brooklyn walked in prepared and left approved the very next day. They had 2 binders of well-organized evidence: joint bank statements, shared tax returns, utility bills in both names, and dozens of printed photographs from various stages of their relationship. The officer began with standard questions: how they met, when they decided to get married, and where they currently live. Their answers flowed naturally, with small details and shared memories that felt authentic. After a brief review of the documents, the officer closed the file, smiled, and told them they were approved. This couple's success wasn't luck. It was the result of thorough preparation and a consistent, believable story supported by strong documentary proof. Contrast that with another couple's experience in the same city. Their interview began normally, but partway through, the officer excused the U.S. citizen spouse and continued questioning the foreign spouse alone. This was the start of a surprise Stokes interview. The questions suddenly became hyper-specific. What side of the bed does your spouse sleep on? What color is your toothbrush? Who cooked dinner last night, and what exactly did you eat? After that round, the officer brought the U.S. citizen spouse back in, alone, and asked the same questions in a different order. The answers were compared, and the officer found discrepancies. One spouse said the bedroom curtains were blue. The other said green. Small as it may seem, this inconsistency was noted, and the case was placed on hold for further review. Months could pass before they receive a final decision. This is a prime example of how, in 2025, the process can turn unexpectedly, and how even genuine couples can get caught in procedural traps. The Trump-era approach to marriage green card interviews focuses on 3 key areas. First is the consistency of the couple's story. What you say in the interview must match what is written in your application. what your spouse says, and what your documents show. A mismatch in any of these areas can trigger suspicion. Second is the strength of the evidence showing a shared life. Officers want to see proof of joint financial accounts, shared living arrangements, and combined responsibilities. Photographs from social events can help, but they're no substitute for hard evidence like leases, bills, and bank statements. Third is the couple's demeanor. Officers are trained to observe how the pair interacts, whether they look at each other naturally, whether their reactions seem genuine, and whether they show familiarity with each other's lives. In addition to these interview tactics, procedural changes introduced in 2025 have caught some applicants off guard. Only the newest editions of USCIS forms are accepted, and using an outdated version can result in an automatic rejection. The medical examination report, Form 1/693, must now be submitted at the time of filing. Waiting to present it later is no longer allowed. Filing fees must be paid separately for each form, no combined payments, and the Form Y-130 petition now carries stronger fraud warnings, reminding applicants that false information can result in denial, fines, and possible deportation. These changes, while procedural on the surface, contribute to the administration's goal of making the process stricter and less forgiving. Preparing for a marriage green card interview in this environment requires more than just gathering a few documents. Couples need to anticipate the range of questions they might face and ensure their answers align perfectly. It's wise to conduct a mock interview, asking each other questions about daily routines, favorite foods, and even seemingly trivial details like the layout of your home. Practice helps ensure that when the real questions come, both spouses answer with confidence and consistency. Evidence should be organized and ready to present in both original and copy form. This includes joint bank account statements, lease agreements, utility bills, insurance policies, tax returns, travel records, and photographs from various stages of the relationship. Each piece of evidence should help tell a cohesive story about your life together. The more complete the picture, the easier it is for an officer to see the authenticity of your marriage. Couples should also be mentally prepared for the possibility of a Stokes interview. This means being ready to answer questions separately and under pressure. Staying calm is essential. Getting flustered can lead to mistakes, and mistakes can lead to delays or denials. It's important to remember that officers are not only listening to your words, they're watching your body language and noting your reactions. In cities like New York, where the volume of applications is high and fraud investigations are frequent, officers may have less time to spend with each couple, but they still have the authority to pull you aside for further questioning. This makes the initial presentation of your case even more important. From the moment you walk in, the way you carry yourself, the organization of your documents, and the clarity of your answers all contribute to the impression you make. For genuine couples, the process can still end in approval, sometimes even quickly. But no one should underestimate how challenging it can be. The Trump administration's 2025 policy direction is clear. Marriage-based immigration is under close scrutiny, and officers are expected to be thorough in every case. While this might sound intimidating, the best defense is preparation. Know your story, document your life together, and present your case with confidence. A marriage green card interview is more than just a formality. It is, under the current rules, a pivotal moment that can decide whether you can build your life together in the United States. It requires preparation, honesty, and attention to detail. Couples who treat the interview as the most important meeting of their lives are far more likely to succeed. Those who walk in unprepared risk delays, denials, and the stress of additional scrutiny. In 2025, the interview room has become the front line in the fight against marriage fraud, at least from the government's perspective. For applicants, it's the final hurdle before securing the right to live and work in the U.S. with their spouse. While the process may feel daunting, it's not unbeatable. With the right preparation, consistent answers, and solid evidence, you can walk out with the approval you need, even in the strictest immigration climate America has seen in years. If you are approaching your own interview, remember that every question, every document, and every detail matters. This is your moment to prove your marriage is real, your intentions are genuine, and your life together is built on more than just paperwork. In the end, that authenticity, combined with careful preparation, remains the strongest tool you have to succeed under the Trump administration's 2025 rules.